Every year in D.C., members of the press, politicians, and even some celebrities get together for the annual White House Correspondents' dinner. And this year, President Biden was there, and he took some jabs at Donald Trump and himself. Take a look.
It's been a year since I delivered this speech, and my wife Jill, who's with me tonight, was worried how I do. I told her, don't worry, just like riding the bike. She said, that's what I'm worried about. The 2024 election is in full swing. And yes, age is an issue. I'm a grown man running against a 6-year-old. Age is the only thing we have in common. My vice president actually endorses me.
So the evening delivered when it came to glitz and glamour, with lots of stars in attendance, including Linda Carter. There she is. Molly Ringwald, Billy Porter, of course, showed up. Chris Pine, looking like Wolverine, and host Colin Jost and his wife Scarlett Johansson. So how did Colin do, many are asking? Well, here's a look at some of his best jokes.
The last time I was in D.C., I left my cocaine at the White House. Luckily, the president was able to put it to good use for his State of the Union. I love, by the way, that Trump's 2 attacks on President Biden are that he's a senile old man and a criminal mastermind. I'm like, I think you gotta pick one. I want to thank my wife for enduring lots of jokes and for agreeing to individually meet everyone in this room right after the ceremony. That's really special, honey. Thank you. Don't be shy. Come right up. She hates privacy.
Lots of people are also talking about what Colin said to close the evening, taking on a more serious tone. Take a listen.
Grandpa voted for decency, and decency is why we're all here tonight. Decency is how we're able to be here tonight.
Now, former President Donald Trump was not in attendance, but he did post about it on social media, saying, quote, the White House Correspondents' dinner was really bad, Colin Jost bombed, and Crooked Joe was an absolute disaster. So, Tori, in your opinion, I know you watched this, was this a disaster?
No, it was a cold room, and if you don't know what that means, it's what I usually feel here when I tell a joke. No, I'm just kidding, but it's a sense of, sometimes I'll tell a joke and immediately Al knows better than I. You are hyper vigilant. If it's a hot room, you're ready to go. You can kind of relax. Cold rooms stink. It's hard. So people thought he was a little stiff. It's not, DC journalists aren't the funniest people in the world, I'll be honest with you. But it's a time for Republicans, Democrats, all the journalists to come together and do what DC doesn't do enough, in my opinion, which is laugh. Take themselves less seriously, let out some jokes, mingle. When you start to mingle, you see a person as a person, not the other side. And there's things that happen in there. So this started way back in 1921. The only president to skip it since 1924 is Donald Trump, who I've always wondered what his sense of humor is. I find it's hard to find his humor. And humor to me is a sign of someone who's healthy, who's gone through things. And I hope the White House Correspondents' dinner stays for a long, long time. I think it's important in D.C.
I think the cold room is just a sign of the climate that we're living in. Because
they're nervous.
You know, people are on, there's television cameras there and jokes are being told, and if you get caught laughing at a joke or in a certain moment, or the camera flashes to you, then all of a sudden that tells a whole narrative about who you are, your life, all of the choices you've ever made, and so it puts people in a precarious situation that maybe wouldn't have happened 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. And people, when you're nervous, it's hard to laugh. When you're nervous, it's an election year. It's hard to laugh. So I think people are a little nervous in D.C.
Well, you shouldn't be,
right?
And I think self-deprecation is amazing, right?
My favorite.
Like what President Biden did, he told some funny jokes, and I thought that was funny. When he fell down, I thought it was funny. But at the time when he fell, we didn't even play it on our show, and I mentioned it, and everyone's like, "You're ageist." Ageist? Get real, man. I'm laughing at a guy who fell off a bike. That's pretty funny. He didn't get hurt. No one, he's making jokes about it right there. The cocaine joke in the White House, very funny, right? We got to stop looking at everything and attacking everything with like all these labels and wokeness and this guy must have grew up like, no, it's not. The guy fell off the bike. It's funny. He laughed at it. We laughed at it. We're not ageist, sexist, all those other things. We're just trying to laugh at it. And I think if you could laugh at yourself and laugh at certain situations, some more serious that you don't laugh at, but certain things in your life you could laugh at. That's all.
Do you think it'll change?
I think it's too little too late as far as that goes. I wish he would have started doing this a while back, you know, like when he stumbled. Now he makes fun of himself when he stumbled, right? Before it's like, you don't talk about it. You don't mention Joe Biden. We're not going to show anything bad. SNL doesn't do any skits on Joe Biden. They should have been doing that the whole time. Since I was born, when I was growing up watching SNL with my parents, they made fun of the president. No matter who it was. Who's going to be the next guy to play the next president, right? We didn't do that with Joe Biden. We just, if you say anything, you're on the other team and then you're full Trump. No, man, I just want to laugh.
I think the country needs to laugh. I'm with you.
Well, you're not allowed to anymore, to Erica's point. If you get caught in the wrong situation laughing at the wrong thing.
I'm not going to laugh.
What?
Now I want to laugh.
You can, but I'm saying.
Tell me I can't laugh. I want to laugh.
To Erica's point, everyone's so sensitive. If you say one thing and you get caught laughing at it on camera, it could ruin your career.
I bet if cameras weren't there, you'd see it wouldn't be a cold room.
Yeah.
To Erica's point.